the best of Money Matters. Under the Radar.
That's right, you're tuning in to Money FM 89.3, and it's now time for a special on-the-go episode of Under the Radar with me, Chua Tian Tian, where we bring you on-the-ground reports of key business events, launches, features, or developers' days. Now, this time we're broadcasting from NRF 2025 Retail's Big Show Asia Pacific, and the event is held at Marina Bay Sands Singapore from now till Thursday, and we'll be bringing you 3 under-the-radar conversations during the period. In our second conversation, we speak with one of the organizers of NRF 2025 Comexposium to keep you up to date with all the details you need to know about the event. Now, for context, this is the second edition of the show and follows the tremendous success of the inaugural edition last year. So, themed Retail Unlimited, NRF 2025 promises limitless possibilities in retail, from enhanced customer experiences to digital transformation strategies. It also aims to foster conversation among leaders in the global retail system, with representatives from over 25 retail associations worldwide in attendance. Now, to encourage more exchanges and activity, the event capacity has been expanded to accommodate more people, and several new features are also installed this year, including an exclusive CEO club of gathering space for top retail execs to exchange ideas on the biggest trends and issues keeping them up at night. Now, joining me on site is Riff Quill, Managing Director for APAC at Comexposium, Comexposium being the organizer of NRF 2025 Retail's Big Show Asia Pacific. Well, Riff, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Tian Tian. Great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
And great to have you join us. So, Riff, let's talk a bit more about Comexposium before we dive into what we can expect at NRF 2025. Comexposium, as we know, is one of the world's leading event organizers, hosts over 135 B2B, B2B2C events across sectors ranging from, we have here retail, you have real estate, construction, fashion, and food. Tell us a bit more about the work that you do.
Well, Comexposium, as you mentioned, to the global organizer, we are headquartered in France, Comexposium, of course, and we have offices all around Asia Pacific, big offices in China, big offices in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, India, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia. So shows all over the place. We operate in, obviously retail is a favourite category of ours, and this one's near and dear to my heart, but we also operate in automotive, construction, fashion, stationery, a lot in food and wine and drink. So last week we had Vinexpo at this venue, our wine show, and in a couple of weeks' time in Malaysia we have Food and Drinks Malaysia. So we have a lot of shows going on.
Well, you've got your schedule packed, I assume. But going back to NRF 2025, Riff, I believe this is the second edition of the big show in Asia Pacific. The capacity has also grown following the favourable responses from last year's edition. What kind of momentum are we seeing at this time?
Well, it's been really interesting. Obviously, we've had some really, controversial happenings around the world. But despite that, we've grown, which is really, really encouraging. This brand is magnetic for retailers. So year on year, we've grown significantly. What's been exciting about the growth has been the diversity of growth. So obviously we have a big representation from Singapore, but every country from Asia Pacific has retailers and solution providers in this hall. So that's really, really exciting.
I see. Now, the theme for this year's event is Retail Unlimited. Well, Riff, NRF 2025 promises limitless possibilities in retail, from enhanced customer experiences, digital transformation strategies. It also aims to foster conversation among leaders in the global retail ecosystem, with representatives from, as you mentioned, over 25 retail associations worldwide, representation for all over Asia Pacific in attendance. Tell us more about the rationale behind choosing this theme, Retail Unlimited, and the objectives of this year's event.
The thing about this region is it's the home to 55% of the world's consumers. By the 2030, 3.49 billion people will join the middle class, which is actually 2/3 of the world's middle class. This area is more mobile, more connected, and more discerning than any other region in the world. But it's also the most diverse. Asia Pacific is not like Europe. We have multiple currencies, multiple languages, multiple cultures, multiple infrastructure, legislative context. So it's a show like this really serves a role. And if you really want, as an Asia Pacific brand or a global brand, come into this region and tap into this opportunity, which is Retail Unlimited, you have to partner. You have to find friends. You have to find like-minded leaders to create opportunities for you in markets across the region.
Okay, we'll talk more about that later on, customizing a show amid, with people coming in from different cultures and nuances. But let's talk about Singapore being the host city for the trade show once again. Tell us more about the reason behind choosing Singapore for a retail-centric event of this scale. How far is Singapore a strategic location in the region where ideas and people converge?
From a Singapore point of view, we really, when we went on this journey about 3 or 4 years ago, we conducted a pretty large feasibility study to understand where we could land a show like this. And one of the things that became really clear was the geographically central nature of Singapore, but then things started to add up. So the Singapore Tourism Board have had some fantastic support for us. We are, half of our delegation comes from overseas, so that's very exciting. Over on the back of the hall over there is the Singapore Pavilion. So Enterprise Singapore have been amazing in their support in collaboration with the Singapore Retailers Association. And of course, we have Singapore Airlines as a partner. So not only has it been geographically fantastic, the city provides an amazing venue like Marina Bay Sands, but the support at a local level, both in public sector and in private, has been really incredible. I mean, FairPrice, for example, you spoke with Sam earlier. Vipul, the CEO of FairPrice, interviewed Sam on stage this morning and has been a great enabler. So Singapore's largest retailer has been amazing as well. So it's been an incredible journey.
Okay, and Riff, let's keep our listener excited with the features of this year's events. I mean, what is new this time around? I understand there's an exclusive CEO club or a gathering space for top retail execs to exchange ideas and the biggest trends and issues keeping them up at night. Tell us more about that.
So one of the things that's really clear about NRF, because it's held in January in New York, here in June in Singapore, and in Paris in September. And NRF is about leadership in retail. And so one of the things we've worked on and brainstormed and really come to the end point was, and they're now executed, is the NRF APAC CEO Club. And as I mentioned before, the biggest challenge for retail businesses looking to expand through the region is to find like minds, and it happens at the leadership level. So the CEO Club we'll have a mixer tonight. We'll have over 100 CEOs participating in that mixer, and then we'll have a lounge on level 3 so they can book meetings. They can retreat from the show. It's a bit crazy. They can do some emails, or they can just enjoy some social time together. But the point of it, the role we play, is to bring those people together. Because for me, the most important thing is and heart as opposed to head, is to see partnerships emerging and to see retailers coming together and going, well, I'm an Australian retailer and I want to go to the Philippines.
Yes.
Finding like minds and finding collaborations that helps these retailers co-create retail experiences because they can't do it alone.
Indeed. And meanwhile, talk about ideas, right? The exhibitor Big Ideas stages have also been extended to offer more in-depth sessions on emerging retail technologies, sustainability and leadership trends. So what can visitors expect on this front? What are the key trends in retail that will be in the spotlight this year?
I'm glad you said that, because I think I walked past the three stages. I think they need to be extended again. The people who've got their booths next to them have been overwhelmed by people trying to get in. For me, the conversations are in multiple levels. I think AI, you can't escape from AI. And so, but for retail, people are still trying to find killer apps. Is it front of house and customer experience? Is it back-end wizardry with logistics, supply chain, sourcing, those type of things? But then there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's robotics. There's the way we're supporting, and we're talking about circularity. There's process improvement. There's digital platforms like Shopify. There's a whole array of operators in the payment space. And the exhibit Big Ideas are designed for the vendor to get on stage with a customer and talk about their journey to implementation and the lift that they've seen by implementing such technologies.
Okay. Now, if you're just tuning in, when I'm in conversation with Riff Quill, Managing Director for APAC at Comexposium. Another highlight, Riff. Don't mind me. Indulge us.
Another highlight. Oh, all right. Then
the NRF Innovators Showcase.
The Innovators Showcase. Well, the Innovators Showcase is a global program.
Yes.
So this is really cool, and this is something that's, for me, retailers in this region would not get access to this vendors all in one place. So the way it works is we curate. That's the only curated part of the expo floor. And we have the VC community in retail technology pitch their particular their backed entities, their backed ventures. And of that, we choose about 30 of those. And so they come from all over the world, everywhere from Australia to Israel to the UK and everywhere in between. But this happens, this is a global program. So we see a representation here in Singapore. We see a representation in New York in January, and we'll see a representation in Paris. So some of them will be appearing all over the place. So over at the right-hand end of the hall, that's where you'll see it. It's with you. They're solving problems that retailers didn't even know they had. Some of these guys. So it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so. In your opinion, right, what are the initiatives in store at this year's event to support early-stage firms in the retail sector and to foster collaboration between the budding entrepreneurs and the big boys? Well,
I think the thing about this is that there's a lot of enterprise retailers in the room, and so for example, the folks in the Singapore Pavilion, many of them are in that early stage of their journey for their venture. It's about connecting with Sam Kim who spoke from Lotte, or one of the other leaders that are here, and saying, that's a problem we have. How about we share the journey together? Because it takes one partnership with a Fair Price or a Lotte or a Wesfarmers in Australia or a Flipkart in India or a JD.com out of China, and it's transformational for some of these businesses. And that's really exciting because that could create opportunity for them they would never imagine they could do just by out knocking on doors trying to make sales.
So the setup of the event this year basically paves the way or sets the stage for such organic conversations to emerge.
Absolutely. I mean, this is about bringing buyers and sellers together. So, and everyone, if you're a smart retailer, you come here with problems to solve, right? So you walk the halls looking to solve problems in your business. And out there, I can guarantee you, for 99% of those problems, good song choice there, 99% of those problems, there's someone who's been on that journey, had that experience, and can go some of the way or part of the way to solving that problem. And that's exciting because, as retailer is growing and evolving, things that we haven't thought of that were problems now didn't exist 3 years ago. So that's exciting.
Okay. And we've talked in depth about this year's event. So, Riff, I want to begin to wrap up by talking about Comexposium, because Comexposium, as you mentioned at the start of the interview, it is headquartered in France. It welcomes over 3.5 million visitors each year at events held in more than 30 countries. How do you actually tailor a show like the NRF 2025 to suit the needs and the cultural nuances of the retail scene right here in APAC?
Every show has to go pretty deep with their knowledge. The way we do it, a starting point for us, you talked about our association partners, we build an advisory board. And so what we do is each year as part of our cycle, we conduct about 30 to 35 qualitative interviews to really get under the skin of what are the issues that are driving the retail sector. I myself have come from a retail and marketing background, and we bring in that subject matter expertise. And then we have so many willing advisors who are sharing information, sharing knowledge that allows us to form an envelope of content, build a theme like Retail Unlimited, and come up with the big topics which are consistent to all retailers across the region.
I see. And finally, before we let you go, Riff, how would you determine the success of NRF 2025, and how do you see the NRF APAC show evolving over the next 3 to 5 years? Any teasers for us?
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that will be success is the experience. So we've really worked hard this year on delivering a fantastic experience, and looking out on the floor, people are happy and smiling and busy. And same in terms of the content in the conference upstairs. For me, so therefore we'll have a customer experience score that we need to track, and that once we have that, it's very much benchmarked with all the other shows we do around the world. So we have a really good guide on how we perform. We know we know where we want to be, and that's really important. In terms of looking forward, for us, I'm selfish, so I think we should be the biggest retail show in the world. And we certainly have, in our region, we certainly have the potential to be. So next year we'll expand to 2 floors in the Marina Bay Sands. At the moment we're only 1.
Okay.
We are growing. We've grown probably by 15 to 20% this year.
Wow.
In despite not such a strong economic market. So we're going to have that growth this year. And if we see a turn in the market, I think we're going to have a really big step change. So really it's about scale. And I think for us, if retailers, if we get to the point where we're achieving our ambition, then retailers, it's that one fixture in a retailer's calendar or a vendor's calendar that this is something that's immovable that I have to go to every year.
Okay, so from retail's big show APAC, you want to make NRF 2026 into retail's biggest show APAC.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Thanks.
That's the ambition.
Thanks so much, Riv. That was Riv Quill, Managing Director for APAC at Comexposium. Thank you so much for joining us on site from NRF 2025 Retail's Big Show Asia Pacific.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.